we're going to have this vehicle picked up in about 15 minutes. And I thought I'd go over the last few things to think about when you're lifting this vehicle. This is a modern SUV platform. So like most modern SUVs, it's McPherson strut front, multi-link rear. The sway bars are an integral part of the suspension stiffness. And what that means in plain English is if you go to lift it, you might find it really hard to get all the parts in. The other thing you might find is that when you put the parts in, it doesn't act very lifted. Let me explain. The bushings are quite stiff. And for example, the sway bar bushings, when they're cranked down at the ride height it's at. We come along, stick our parts in it, we want it to be at a different ride height. And because those bushings on the sway bars are an integral part of the handling and feel and roll resistance and stiffness of the vehicle, they want to stay really badly in the place they used to be, and they would resist you lifting the vehicle. So what you do is you can loosen off all the things, put the parts in, get on the alignment rack, and then do the final tighten down of all the bushings. And that way, everything is tightened down at the right height it wants to be, and you won't get any excessive bushing wear, and the bushings won't fight you. In the back, we had the bushings probably taking ½ inch away of lift. So when we loosened them off, let it rise to its normal height, equalized it, and then tightened it down, we had a solid ½ inch more. So you can really have a big impact on how much it lifts the vehicle depending on how the bushings are set. So in the back, the tight bushings were good for holding it down ½ inch. In the front, the tight bushings made it a little harder to install, not terribly much. More of the challenge for installation with the bushings was the rear. I do think though you want to get the full value out of it, and you want to avoid all the pain of installation when you can. So just consider that when you're installing it. Have I loosened the bushings? Have I got the suspension arms to relax and move? And then of course don't forget, when you're done and you're on the alignment rack, give it the final tighten down at ride height, at load, on the tires, and that's how you get the best result. The alignment, the front align, pretty easy. We have the camber adjustments in the front, of course. This is something we do in many of our Traxda kits. In the rear, we had 0.4 positive, which is the limit, but still good. It was very sensitive to camber change in the rear, which is why we ended up with 1 inch of subframe drop and only an 1.5 inch spring spacer. The plus side for you as a vehicle owner, the axle angles are very close to stock. So the front subframe has a 1.5 inch spacer, but a ½ inch subframe drop. The rear has a 1.5 inch spacer and a 1 inch subframe drop. So the axles are very gently treated. I don't expect any problems for the life of the vehicle. The parts will last as long as they would on a stock vehicle, I think. It drives really nicely. It feels sporty and agile. It still feels OEM quality, but it's up. I'm really quite proud of this kit and how well it turned out. I think if you ever get a chance to drive it, you'd feel the same way. Center plates installed. They install quite easy. There's only 6 bolts. They go into the factory locations. We don't supply them painted because our oven is not large enough to take the step. And we found also that people get a better result if they just get some roll-on bed liner from their local auto parts store. You can coat them yourself for $100 in your driveway before you install them, and it's much easier. You also guarantee they won't be scratched when they arrive. She looks pretty, and now it's time for her to go.